I just realized I didn't hit start on Kickin' YouTube, but now we're live on Kickin' YouTube as well. We were on Twitch for a while, so for a tiny bit, for a smidge, we were
I
on.
don't want to go there. Come on.
Okay, now we're on all the platforms, all the memes. So to recap for the YouTube and Kick folks, okay, who missed the prior memes, okay, Anna's down bad for Beatrice. Too much
Perhaps.
so. Too much so, in fact.
Okay, which would you prefer that I'm down bad for? Because there is evidence to prove that I was down bad. Beatrice from Umineko or Curse from Dorohedoro? Because I know that I said some fucked up shit about Curse on stream.
It's funnier if it's Curse because the unfish reading Dorohedoro.
Dude, Curse is hot! I don't know what to tell you, man!
Like I said, okay, none of us are free from sin, okay? We're not going through those gates. It's just not happening.
We just have different kinds of sins, already.
Mine may be lust, but I can live with that.
And what the hell's mine? Where do you fit not understanding other human beings?
Wrath.
Is that really wrath?
No.
I don't know, because there are definitely
I just feel like it'd be funny to say that you're Wrath.
You're Wrath.
Yeah, not fair, honestly. Where do you quantify this, Nyan?
I was gonna say either you could qualify it as sloth because you're not interested in putting in the effort to understand.
I'm trying to there, please.
You could consider it pride, where you don't think that you need to. Because you're too good for that.
I think I should. I think I'm lower than you guys on the social hierarchy here.
Or envy for not being able to.
I'm not envious of this. Okay, I'll tell you that much. You're not fooling me, Nyan.
But if you're not envious, then you must be prideful in the fact that you don't understand.
No. I consider myself lower in the hierarchy compared to you two.
Oh my god,
wow.
I'm doing it such a awkward.
Ari is officially late. Officially.
Damn.
Yeah.
They messaged in the chat at 8:57 and said, I'll be there in 5. Mathematically speaking, that means they're going to be late. And they are now officially late.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Let me at Turndo to see if he's joining us. And now we wait a bit, I guess. Again, we have those alerts on the channel that people can mess with. On the channel points redeem things or whatever. Those are turned on until we start. I need to add more, and I need to find a separate program, which I think I found prior to starting stream, but I didn't want to do it yet. That will supposedly let me put unlimited media things, not just sounds. I can trigger videos and other medias to play too. So that'd be interesting to let you guys be able to spam fucking videos. They're just gonna cover the fucking screen.
I'd love that.
I
also have so many channel points.
Wait, how many?
I have 22,000 right now.
Okay.
71,000.
That's right. You know what that means? That means we gotta make ways for you to lose them all, okay? The one thing that I do want to add, I want to add because I've seen other streamers do this. You can make it so that you can pay channel points to trigger a TTS message, like a text-to-speech thing. That'd be cool to set up. Again, I saw a thing that would potentially let me do it before stream, but I didn't want to go messing with shit and having everything be broken. So
yeah, you also usually don't have that sound stuff activated for the book club ones anyway. If it was for one of your gaming ones, it might be different. But
they're on for everything except book club once we start, as long as I remember to turn them off during book club.
I have yet to run into an instance where you haven't turned it off.
There were many weeks where I have not turned it off during book club and nobody redeemed it.
And there's also times where we did redeem
There was also many weeks where you were not here, so, you know.
Yeah.
Such as during Dorohedoro.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Come to
And
Canada.
Land of the Lustrous.
Hey. That
Hey.
was not a reading issue. That was a scheduling issue. That was different.
Allegedly.
So are like one-off stuff, most of it.
Oh, actually, I can now tell you about that. The reason for that, and the reason that I actually didn't pick a one-off for me to do, was because I was dealing with the legal shit for my car crash. So I was like constantly in conversation with my lawyer and like having to go into court and stuff. So I was not going to those because I was dealing with legal and the financial ramifications of having to pay for a lawyer. So that's what I was dealing with during all that.
Okay, but are you going to jail? Are we going to have
No.
a convicted book club member? Are you going to be phoning in to the next book club from prison? Okay.
I am convicted. But I'm not in prison.
Welcome, Ari. You're late. You're late.
Yet again.
It's a made-up
Wow.
tale. It's a total fabrication. It never
Wait, what do you mean yet again?
Yet again, late. Wow. Always late. What are we going to do about Ari? I don't know any time that they've showed up on time. You know, it's ridiculous. All right. So, I did not.
Bro, what is this slander?
What are you talking about? It's all true. It's all true. It's all true. I added Turndo. I also have not heard any. I mean, they were posting in the spoiler zone, right? So
I think so.
maybe I don't know. I haven't heard anything from them. I added them. So maybe we should get started. And if he joins, he can join in the middle. That's probably what we'll do. All right, let me make sure everything's live everywhere it's supposed to be. Okay, we got the kick up. Okay, everybody. Oh, hey there. Your stream is fantastic. I'm looking forward to catching your next one and followed you because I really appreciate your hard work. Let's connect on Discord. Yeah, that's a scam. How about we just
it's not on Twitch. I can't ban them.
This is on Kick. How do you here we go. Ban.
I'm honestly surprised Kick even has a ban functionality.
You know, I mean, apparently
like,
it does.
If you get banned on Kick, then you're really screwed, alrighty?
Yeah,
Like,
I just had a friend get banned from 4chan.
Oh no.
No.
I don't know.
That means you probably should not talk to them anymore because you gotta do some real fuck shit for that.
I wish he's my coworker.
Time to find a new job. You know, I mean, it happens. It happens. It happens. Okay. And we got the Twitch up and we got the YouTube up. All right. Let's get ready. Let's begin. Okay.
Getting banned on 4chan is crazy, yeah.
All right, wait, hold on. I'm going to remember to turn off the sound alerts this time. Okay, no sound alerts. Okay, you had your chance to play FBI Open Up. It's too late now. Okay, well, the people in book club can play the soundboards. Okay, I can't do anything about that. But, I mean, technically, I can do something about that, but I won't, you know. So because if I did that, Ari, you know, wouldn't have much to say, you know. Anyways.
Wow. What is this slander to me?
Listen, we're allowed to slander all we want to people who are late to book club. That's the rule. I made it up just now, okay? So
you can direct in the rules section in the book club. You make a book club rules section.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the rules now. Don't worry about it. If you're late for book club, we can make up all sorts of lies about you, and it's now canon lore. That's just how it goes, you know. All right.
Also, added a section for Dora, but now you're not finishing it.
Oh my fucking god.
We'll have a hall of shame for people who left in the middle of a series, okay? Never show back up.
You'll only be amended when you finish the series.
Oh my god.
All right, it's time to begin. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting week of the Anime Book Club here on twitch.wolfberg.com, youtube.wolfberg.com, and kick.wolfberg.com all at the same time, all across all the platforms, and probably on your mom's Apple smartwatch, okay? Just check it. It's probably on there. She's probably watching it right now. This is just what we got going on here. It's the best stream ever, every week, talking about the most based manga, and right now we're reading Umineko. Umineko Episode 2 we've started now specifically. And we'll get started talking about that, but first, let's introduce our guest for this week. Starting in alphabetical order as usual. Arimia, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Arimia. You should read Umineko.
Anything else?
No.
All right, fair enough. All right, read Umineko and nothing else. Nothing else in the world exists. Just Umineko. Specifically the manga for this show. Okay, so the visual novel doesn't exist apparently. Well, you didn't specify. What do you want me to do? Argue with you?
Slander of the highest degree.
You're not specifying yet again.
Listen, again, Ari was late. We're allowed to slander. Okay, that's how that works. Anyways, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Now, next up, we have me, Battlerborg, aka Chaplain, aka Wolfborg. Okay, I am the host of the book club, and we are going to be continuing the series. And I wanted to shout out, Halo Combat Evolved is what I'm going to shout out this week, which I will also be playing this weekend. We'll be playing the campaign mode of it this weekend. I'm going to be playing through, eventually, the entirety of all the Halo games on my beautifully connected Xbox 360, which I have, and I'm going to be connecting it to my capture card, and we're going to be playing through probably all the Halo games that I have here that run on my Xbox 360. We're going to be playing as God intended, all right, and we're going to be starting with the classic. It says right on the box, it says the killer app for the Xbox, 10 out of 10, all right? That was Electronic Gaming Monthly. Would they lie to you? I don't think so.
Wait, hold on. Why is it an app?
It's an app. Don't worry about it. This is like, what, 2000? This is like, what, 2003 or some shit? It's an app. Don't worry about it.
A game is an application.
Yeah, true.
Okay, thank you.
True.
I understand now.
What are we gonna do about that? Anyways, that's me, and that's what I recommend. And next up, we have Nyan Bacon. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nyan Bacon. You may also hear me referred to as Andy or Anne. That was going to be a mean joke. Never mind. You should all watch Ouran High School Host Club, except for episode 7. No, you have to watch episode 7, but I'm so sorry about episode 7.
All right.
Alrighty.
Okay. Yes. That. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Next up, we have Shadow Pawn V4. Introduce yourself.
I have Shadowman. The thing I recommend is Dorohedoro.
Based?
I cannot with you!
I hear that's a great series. In fact, we covered that entirely, and you can check out the VODs about that on youtube.wolfborg.com. You can see all those VODs, and a certain somebody disappears from those VODs after a certain volume. I don't know. Nate in the chat said, read all of the tales from the Pizzaplex epilogues too. What is this a reference to?
The Pizzaplex Finance a Pretty security breach.
Okay, all right. Well, how about we... All right, everybody. Thank you.
Wait. No, it's an Xbox game. You should totally play security breach.
I am not playing Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach on my goddamn Xbox 360. Okay? Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody.
Hold on.
Oh, my God.
I recommend exactly volume 17.
Of Dorohedoro?
Of the Pizzaplex epilogues?
No,
I was going to say Pizzaplex at first.
Shadow!
All right. Thank you so much to all of our guests. Okay. Welcome back. We're here discussing. I almost said Dorohedoro. We're here discussing Umineko. Umineko, episode 2. Turn of the Golden Witch. We're done with episode 1, and now we're on episode 2. Turn of the Golden Witch. It is Beatrice's metaphorical turn at the chessboard. That is the endless torture of Battler Ushiromiya, basically. So, this week we covered roughly the first 3 volumes. I put like an asterisk next to the 3 because it's chapters 1 to 16, which covers I think half of volume 3, because we're reading based on the English omnibus volume. So technically this is on the omnibus edition, it's episode 2, volume 1. From the original Japanese, it's like volumes 1 to 3.5 or whatever. So that's why there's an asterisk there, and probably a note down below in whatever comment section you're reading. So let's begin. We have one of the biggest changes is not just the reset quote or whatever of the story here, but also a new artist for the series. So last time it was Kei Natsumi or whatever. It's Kei something. Now it is, I wrote it down, Jiro something. Where is it?
And they like sharks.
They do like sharks and turtles. That
And
was
turtles.
a thing. Where is it? They are Jiro Suzuki. Jiro Suzuki. I tried looking into their past works. They had worked on some Higurashi stuff before for manga adaptations. It looked like they also did like a witch series earlier than that, like their own kind of comedy slice of life, potentially like witch series called Magical Illusions, which I didn't actually look into the series at all. I just saw like the Annulus page for it. It was a nice. It looked like it's like a nice little like 2-volume short thing, so I might check that out eventually. They also eventually did a series called Academy K, and more recently they've also been a original character designer for anime, specifically for the anime Revengers and Laid Backers is what they're credited on. So and Revengers, I remember we watched, and it looked very nice. I think the story wasn't really my thing, which is why I didn't really continue with it. But I thought it looked really nice, and I just didn't realize this was the character designer for it. So that's interesting to see how far they've gone. They've also worked on an anthology comic for Black Butler.
Yo.
So they're on that.
Very small world.
Yes. Okay. What are our thoughts here? Because we opened up this episode. Last time I had figured with Ryukishi and their stories, we're getting into some time loop thing. And for a while with
That's what
these
it seemed
volumes,
like.
for a while with these volumes, I had thought, this is essentially like doing the story over, at least for us, the readers. But Battler and like Beatrice are like having like a meta dialogue about the events that are happening as well.
Yes.
Like as if they're having a chess match and like watching it happen, essentially, and like narrating over the game going on between the two, where Beatrice is trying to do everything that she can to prove to Battler this time that she is undeniably real and that there is no she is real, she is a witch, and there is no like human explanation for the things that have happened. There's no like logical explanation for it. Basically trying to torment him with this kind of loop until he will admit that there is no possible explanation for how certain events could have happened. And as part of this, she has more directly inserted herself into the story in person this time, because the big complaint he had before was until she shows herself to me in person, I will not believe that she is real. Well, now she is all over the place. But for a while, though, so my thing before was I thought it was going to be a time loop where things were going to be different. We were going to see the same scenes, but things are going to be different. And for a while, I was convinced that that might not be the case. I was convinced that this was actually additional scenes that we had just not seen before. And that these are essentially going to be added in parts that dramatically change things, such as like because we open up with all the love story developments between Shannon and George, Cannon and Jessica, and the reveal of like not just Maria but also Rosa meeting with Beatrice when she gave the letter to them, but. I had thought this because one, those scenes were like some of those scenes were very much way before our story started, and then when we get to the scenes when the story started, there was like all the adults being like, "Oh, there's a guest in the house," and the new guest is calling herself Beatrice, and she says she's the witch of the family or whatever, the alchemist witch of the family. She's obviously just lying for the inheritance, so we're just going to deny her existence or whatever. So I thought, okay, so the way we were going with this is that whole first volume episode, they knew that there was another guest in the house, but they were just denying that she was there. But no, that was not the case. That was very much not the case this time, because later on, not only do they directly meet with and talk with her, several people have directly met with and talked with her. They then go meet her at like a church and are killed. Different sets of people are killed than before in a chapel this time, in a way specifically so that you can see their faces. because that was another thing that Battler had said, and we had talked about before, where it's like if they destroyed the faces of the bodies so much that you can't really recognize some of them, then these could technically be the bodies of anybody else. But now, Beatrice has gone out of her way to make sure that Battler knows that he can't use that excuse anymore. And she's laughing at him the entire time this happened. But there's a lot of other events that happened in between that. So, let's start with the beginning stuff. Very different tone with this series in the beginning of this episode, okay, compared to the rest of the other series where it's murder mystery. The beginning is like, I want to say a whole, pretty much a whole volume of like romance drama, with like a little bit of like, and that's why I went to do the ritual to connect with Beatrice so that she can help me get the one I love or whatever. But like most of it was like just, it felt like part slice of life romance and then part romance drama stuff. Cause like Shannon and George felt like they had like a little date in Okinawa, go to the aquarium, have like a lunch or whatever. Did they kiss? I don't remember if they kissed. Because I remember Jessica like asked. Jessica was very much trying to like get information out of Shannon for like how far they went, because she wants to be in a relationship at this point in the story, but like she pretty much hasn't been able to find success in doing so. And then eventually she starts developing a thing for Cannon, and that's the whole thing. So how do we feel about all of that stuff that progressed? The romance stuff towards the beginning of this volume.
It was cute.
All right, good stream. I feel like we covered all the grounds, and we're good. No. It took me a bit at first to get started with this volume. Not just because of the tone shift or whatever, but the art shift mixed with the date, like romance angle of it. Very much, I was just like, what am I reading now or whatever? And it took me a while to get started with it. But then once we cut to her being like, but I'm just furniture, so I have to do this ritual to connect with Beatrice so that he will be mine. I'm like, oh, all right, there's Umineko. There it is.
There's the Umineko I know and love.
It adds a lot to like how events could have started the story, because prior, at least on my end, my assumption was that Kinzo had done something to summon Beatrice, but now it more seems like Shannon was the one to have directly done something to summon Beatrice. But although Beatrice kind of already appeared, it was just that she did not have her full powers. And so she needed Shannon to go to this shrine that was built on the island, destroy a mirror that was built like ages ago by like a wandering like sage or whatever. And then she would have full access to her powers again, essentially. And so she did that with the promise of like being able to, have George and her, have a relationship. And it works. And then they have like the Okinawa date or whatever. And then she returns this like gift that Beatrice gives to her or whatever. It's like some butterfly charm thing. Yeah, brooch. That's supposed to be like, I'm assuming if you have it, it gives you the powers of that wish, and specifically it helps towards like love or whatever in the cases that we've seen, at least, because Shannon had it at first and then gave it to Cannon eventually when she no longer needed, because she only really wanted the magic to like start things off with George. Once things started off, Shannon didn't want to continue the relationship through like magical influence. So she gave that over to Cannon. At first, she offered to just give it back to Beatrice, and Beatrice is kind of offended by that for a bit. But like Beatrice and Shannon seemed pretty chill with each other when they talked. But that may or may not be just because Beatrice was only using her. I mean, she pretty much was using her. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell whether or not Beatrice actually like cares about some of the people she's talking with directly and interacting with, because like Shannon she appears with and helps because she's someone who like would believe in her, right, or like reveres her, whereas Cannon actively despises and distrusts Beatrice, and so there's different dynamics between the two. So I don't know if Beatrice's actions are all supposed to be evil or if they're all just supposed to be like Beatrice just doing whatever, like wanting to help these like people out with like, because the big focus on this episode is hammering away about how Shannon and Cannon are just furniture. That was like a big reoccurring thing throughout like most of this. You're just furniture. You're never going to amount to anything. You're not allowed to do anything. You're not allowed to be with anybody. You're not even allowed to feel love. You're not allowed to feel anything. It's a big reoccurring thing. I kept being tired of seeing the word furniture. Okay. Yeah. Cannon called himself a flightless duck at some point in comparison.
At least he was getting creative.
And what's her name? Jessica was like, flying ducks, furniture. What the hell are you talking about? I think I posted that screen. Yeah, that's good. But I liked the like atmosphere that Beatrice has within the story now that she's inserted herself directly into it, because it really is the kind of just like knowledgeable, mysterious like background person. Or I don't know what you would call this as like a TV trope thing or whatever, where like they're like there in the story, but they're more like a background like wise person that people go to, and like they have like magical stuff to like try to help the other person. Because Beatrice can come off as evil, but most of this more comes off as I am just a magical being on this island, and now I wish to talk with this person because they're on the same wavelength as me and they're sort of interesting. Which is why she doesn't like kill Cannon as much as like she pisses her off or whatever, or like disrespects her, because in her mind she's like, oh well, this is entertaining or whatever, you're more entertaining than I thought, or some shit like that. There's a lot that happened, but I want to talk real quick. Okay, Ari, okay. How are your because you had some opinions you posted about the new artist for the episode. What were your overall thoughts?
I like the previous artist more. I don't particularly care for this artist.
Damn.
I mean, it's fine, but I guess
fine.
because I'm so used to the characters, I just don't like how they draw Bito. She just doesn't. She looks hotter in like every other rendition of herself than what this artist can draw.
Damn.
You know, Bito is a very special woman.
So what you're telling me is that Naya likes mid.
Yeah.
Because not
Don't worry, she'll get hotter.
Listen, in contrast, chat. Okay. In contrast, Anne has been down bad, all right, in the chat. Down bad, all right.
Okay, so...
No, it's worse in her server. It's worse.
Oh, yeah, because I was sending, like, screenshots in my own community server.
Hold on, let me grab one. All right?
But I really like... There's something about the asymmetrical, like... Maria does it too, but I can't say weird shit like I'm down bad for Maria because that's weird. But like the asymmetrical faces that people get when they're having like that like kind of like psycho moment.
Yeah.
Beatrice does that a lot in this, and I like
But
that
she's
because it makes it
supposed
look
to.
crazy.
She's supposed to, but it's done better by different artists.
Which is fair, but I feel like we got it more here than we did in the last one anyways.
That's because she wasn't in the last one.
I'm just
It's
saying
true,
that I have
it's
more
true.
opportunity to think she's hot in this one. It may be mid this time around.
Let me just there we go.
Yeah,
I wonder if being down bad was a new development or if it was always there.
Yeah,
But like I said,
new outfits here. It's so good.
her new outfit here is amazing. But like we were saying, like she wasn't there a whole lot in the last one. And when she was a lot more like formal, like put together. She wasn't pulling the whole like crazy face shit. And I like the crazy face shit.
Oh my god, this covered the entirety of the screen. That's not supposed to be how that works. Okay, hold on.
Yes, it is.
God, what did Shadow fucking send?
There we go. Just hello,
my
sailor.
I mean, I feel like that's the best example of it, you know?
Yeah.
So I do want to talk. I do like the new outfit. I love the new outfit.
I love the new outfit.
I also thought the detail was funny how the portrait was updated to the new outfit too.
I
and a
thought
new
that was
pose and
really
everything.
cool.
I thought that was
the
real funny.
portrait is a very important part where it'll get updated for every single episode.
Oh my god.
Little spoiler there, but
Bro.
something to look forward to.
Spoilers. God damn. I
Something
was
to look forward to.
okay. And you know, very different look, very more active role, okay? So not only did she openly introduce herself to Canon and Shannon, then they introduced themselves directly to the house by just showing up and being like, hey, I'm a guest during the reunion. Whatever. Anyways, it's just like, yeah, so prepare me a room now, Genji, will you?
And Genji's like, oh, of course.
Yes,
of course, madam.
As she tries to open the door to Kinzo's office, and she's like, oh, he tried to do a fucking charm thing on this fucking thing? All right, well, I guess I'm not...
Prank?
Yeah, I guess I don't want to go in there. I mean, I could have Genji open the door, but now I don't feel like it. She was like literally about to open the door and go see him, and he charmed her out. And so she's just like, okay. But meanwhile, we were seeing a bunch of scenes of just him crying, being like, Beatrice, please, I just want to see you again,
He was
Beatrice.
so silly.
And at the
I
time,
could not take him seriously.
so it's been established more directly now that, like, you know, she's been hanging around the island all these years, but only certain people can see her if they're on the same wavelength and have like magic or whatever, something like that, either same wavelength or magic infused with them or something like that. And so, as hard as Kinzo may try, and as much as he may have enough occult research and stuff like that to be considered on level with like a top magician or whatever, he still lacks magic to actually be able to see Beatrice in like the current state of like prior to the events happening, at least. Whether or not he can see him once he's there.
He has a super high magic resistance.
I see.
There's a thing called magic resistance in this where some people, all humans, it's what they were talking about in the first episode, where like, because Maria is the youngest of the cast, she has lower anti-magic toxins in her, so she's more susceptible and easier to see magic and stuff. So not only as people get older do they get more anti-magic toxins in them, I guess, but also some people are just born that way, where they just have higher amounts. And Kinzo, the Ushiromiya bloodline specifically, has a lot of anti-magic resistance to them. So they just can't perceive that stuff.
Yeah.
So just the nocebo effect.
It was like, it was something I didn't want to bring up last time, but y'all were talking about like how at the end, or how the servants were all acting like she's real and stuff. And it's like, oh no, that's because Kinzo strongly believed it, so they just wanted to make him feel better. No, they've seen her. They've all seen her. Genji, Shannon, Canon, they've seen her. That's why they were acting that way.
That was also what they were telling Battler.
Well, so I understand in this episode at least, but I also get some weird vibes of like maybe they didn't actually see them in the first episode, but they are in the second episode, or because like, you know, now that we have a lot of stuff changing, I'm just thinking to myself like Beatrice is directly trying to insert herself into the story differently this time, but that doesn't mean necessarily that things are different from the first. That was one of the things I was thinking about, because in my head I was trying to think, oh, is this actually just the first episode all over again, but we're seeing different scenes that we didn't see? No, that turns out to not be the case. But does that mean that certain scenes that we see that we didn't see before potentially happened and we still didn't see it? I don't know. You know, that, I mean, okay, well, I mean, you can just say yes, but I don't know if that's a fact at this point, okay? I don't know if that's a fact.
You know.
Yeah, Remia could be lying to us.
Yeah.
Could just be lying. And
I've already lied to y'all before, so.
I believe it, okay? I don't trust anything you say. You said you were going to be on time to book club, and look what happened, so, you know.
I did not say that. I said give me 5 minutes, and then I showed up at 8:04.
That's like making an appointment with like your doctor, and then saying, "Well, I didn't tell you I'd be on time for that. I mean, I just scheduled an appointment, is all. You know."
I didn't.
I just
you know. Because I always say give me 5 minutes. It took them 8.
Oh, we got the receipts. We got the
No, I
receipts.
was here at 8:04. What?
We got the. Yeah, I mean, you said
57.
57. When you add 5, you'd be here at 9:02.
No, that would mean I'd be there at 8:05. Shut up.
That's
Oh my
not.
God.
That's not how math works.
It's how it works.
That's not how math works. 7 plus 5. What's 7 plus 5?
Anyway, so in
Okay.
this episode,
Yes.
you can assume that some scenes might be the same between episodes, like Beatrice's thing with Shannon. That can like happen in other ones, but sometimes it's like obviously her showing up did not happen in the first episode. Think of these as different games, because
Well-
this is the eternal torture.
Well, listen, I'm Battlerborg, okay, mode now for the rest of the series. So let me tell you, all right, this is just Beatrice fan fiction, okay?
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is
I'm
all
glad
Beatrice,
you finally
and
realized.
that Beatrice was never there, and this is all just a made-up tale. It's fiction. It never happened, okay? Beatrice
I'm
didn't
glad
actually
you
show up to
finally
Shannon and
realized.
Canon, all right? Not there.
You know, I was
She's
going to
not
say
there.
Beatrice like, nah, you know what? I'm the main character now, actually.
Yeah.
This is
So-
Beatrice fan fiction.
And she's got a hot new outfit to go with it.
because
Rude. Oh, that's all I care about.
I mean,
What's
it's-
weird
yeah.
about that? Whoa!
Wait, what?
So she's got a hot new outfit to go with it.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
What were we freaking out about?
Oh, yes.
I
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
All right.
Anyways. Anyway, so rituals to get our lovers aside here. Okay, so Shannon had her whole thing happen where she's is convinced by Beatrice to break the mirror so that she can finally, quote, become human, and in that sense, like, be able to continue a relationship with George and actually like get married to him eventually or whatever. But she only really wanted to use the magic to at least get things started because she felt like things could not get started in her current state of that or whatever, because she has been instilled on her all her life that you're just furniture, you don't feel love, you're not allowed to feel this emotion or whatever. And now the magic has helped her be motivated to more, or influence her and potentially George to like push that relationship forward. But then Canon's stuff also developed. So Canon was also believing that he is furniture, but is doubling down on that stance despite how much he actually would like to have a relationship with Jessica as well.
God,
There's a
he's
whole-
so fucking annoying.
Oh my
Finally, a
god,
main
damn.
character I can relate to.
Damn. So he has a whole thing where Jessica is like all sad after hearing about Shannon and George and how well things are going with them. She's a little jealous of that and wishes that she could have a boyfriend. Then, to prepare for, what was it, like a cultural festival or something like that at their school or something?
Yeah, school
Um,
festival.
Shannon set it up so that Canon would go with Jessica and pretend to be her quote boyfriend or whatever for the event, so that she essentially wouldn't look like a loser to her other friends when she kept bragging saying, I'll definitely have a boyfriend by that time, because all her other friends have boyfriends and stuff like that. So Canon shows up. Bro, Canon showed up with the fucking cool ass jacket going on. What the fuck was that? I was like, holy shit, what is going on? And then like all the girls are immediately like hitting on him, and like as soon as he's alone and not near her, they're like trying to get with him, and he's just like, what was it? He was like, all right, Shannon told me the magic words to say, I'm here with a date, and she was like, oh, I worked in the game or whatever. Is that what she said? Did she say it worked in this one game I played or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
Visual novel.
So
It worked in the visual
and it-
novel.
and it didn't work here.
Curious.
It didn't work here. He was like, I'm here with a date. And they're like, oh, well, we'll keep you company until she comes back. It's, oh, okay. Well, that didn't help. So, but throughout the whole thing, it was like he's watching her do a performance with like her friends. I guess they have like a band going on there. And she's got like a witch outfit going on in the band. I was not expecting like...
I wasn't
Har-
either.
that's the shit I've seen at
Witches are
Haruhi
everywhere.
Suzumiya. I didn't expect that
I
here
think-
too.
I think it's supposed to be Marissa
Marissa? What's a Marissa?
Toho.
Toho? Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Marissa
Okay.
Kiri-sama.
Okay. Sure. I'll go with that. I'll accept
I'm
it.
trying to. Well, like where you're talking. I'm trying to find pictures of
Okay.
all of this because there's actually like there's a whole like actual song for it. So
Oh. Is it in the anime or is it in...
it's an anime and the visual novel.
Oh my god.
In the visual novel, they did something where it's like, well, I'm trying to find a clip of it, but it's like, you know how, like, it does the scrolling text to the side of, like, all the comments, the live comments and stuff?
Yeah.
That's what they did to mimic the people there.
Oh, I see. I'm like showing on the stream now some of the images you guys have put in the chat. Okay, I can't keep up. Can't keep up with all these memes.
I know, Ari. With what in the visual novel work, did half in the visual novel and actually worked? I gotta know. Is that a bit?
The line? I don't
What?
know. Because Canon had thought that the one line that Shannon said would like help him if like women trying to hit on him
didn't
was
actually help
was just say I'm here on a date or whatever, and it did not work. And then he's like, well, Shannon's like, well, what in the visual novel it worked or something like that. It's a
some
bit.
like
It's a
visual
bit.
novel meta.
Did it work in the
Hold on.
visual novel? That's the
Wait,
question.
I should not listen to this on stream. I don't know if this will get copyright memes. So
I have
I'm not
no
listening to it on
clue.
stream.
Oh, it's a Nico Nico Doga meme song.
I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes
she
it
is
safe or not.
cosplaying
So.
Marissa.
Okay.
It's
all
in
right.
Betan.
Okay. So all right, so that's clarifications with that, I guess. So Canon is watching this performance, and the whole time he's saying to himself internally, like, this is a waste of time, this is just a pain, but I have to do this chore because they asked me to. But, you know, I kind of jealous of how free she looks right now, essentially, is the mindset of it, because both him and Jessica are just like trapped in their roles normally for the Ushiromiya family, with Canon just being furniture, Jessica having to do whatever makes the family happy, and so she feels very restricted. She gets like excited when her mom mentions that she saw her performance, only to find out the performance that she's referencing likely was not her musical performance, but her speech at like a part of the festival. And she was saying like,
Yeah.
oh, she sounded very professional, very, very professional speech that she gave. And it makes her then disappointed because she was very excited at first. She was like, oh, mom actually saw that and accepted that. It was like happy with that. But now she's like, if she actually saw me perform, she probably would say it's unseemly for the Ushiromiya family, you know? And so she keeps that kind of side of her like away from the family because she knows it'll just get judged or shut down if she like expresses the things that she likes more openly like that. So she doesn't deal with any of that. So she feels kind of trapped in that kind of sense. And Canon looks at that and says, you might think that, but to me, you have options for freedom. I have literally no options for freedom. I am a flightless duck, he calls himself. A flightless duck. You're a soaring bird, and I would be a flightless duck if I was
Listen.
a bird, you know?
Canon is like 15, okay? He's going through a lot.
He's going through it.
He's going through it.
He's in his teen emo phases.
His what faces?
His
You
teen
know?
emo phases.
Yeah. And Jessica essentially tries to ask him out-ish, and he's just like, no, fuck you. Like, flat out rejects her. I'm not telling you my real name. I have no real name. I'm just furniture. We cannot get close. Stay away. We cannot be in love or whatever.
And like totally breaks her heart.
She like walks away like, haha, oh, okay, I'm just gonna head over here now, haha, just goes to her room, cries, bawls her eyes out or whatever. Destroyed by that. And it's like, meanwhile, he does want to be with her, but like he's just like a whole thing where he feels like he's not allowed to because of how he's been raised all this time and the current role that he serves and all that. And that like, while he looks at Shannon and George or whatever and sees whatever they're doing, he does not feel like he can ever do that, because when he looks at their situation, he knows that that's Beatrice taking advantage of Shannon, knowing that that relationship will likely never go to where they actually want it to be. It will end at a certain point and they will not reach the like very peaceful ending that they want. Well, we know as the reader, the way it ends is mostly probably one of them getting murdered. One or both of them getting murdered, most likely. Did not happen yet in this episode, but we saw Shannon get fucking destroyed in the last volume, so there's still time for that in this volume, right? So we also had a revisit to the scene with the ring, and the addition that we're given with the scene with George proposing to Shannon is that she immediately puts the ring on her finger. Now, did that happen in the last episode? or not? That's a detail that I was curious about, because is it something to where like this time he immediately knew that she wanted to get married? Because like to me that
okay,
kind of
I
that kind of
didn't
I can confidently tell you that did not happen in the last episode, because I remember she ran off into the rain without him, like without an umbrella, and he was like, oh well fuck, and then he asked if she had the ring on her finger afterwards, and that was when Eva was like, why the fuck would you have done that?
I see.
Yeah,
So
so he asked him his father clarification, like, does she have a ring on her finger?
Okay. So
I didn't see her.
Okay, so that is a new detail. All right. That's interesting to think about. You know, as Battler, because I'm Battler now. Okay.
Yeah,
Thinking about these things. Yeah, I'm thinking about these things, okay? Because that's not magic, okay? Magic did not put that ring on her finger. She put it on herself before she died, okay? We all know the truth.
The butterfly thing, that's just placebo entirely.
So, and again, we're talking a lot about the romance between Shannon, Cannon, and all them. That's because, again, pretty much like the first third of this volume is that. It's just like romance drama, which I'm fine with. It was just like a detour away from all the murder mystery stuff that was going on. There was a couple scenes, though, with Beatrice interfering with the stuff, influencing it in some ways. She's like definitely fucking with Shannon, I think, but a part of me also thinks that she's sort of like okay with Shannon, if that makes sense, because like their interactions seem like that she's interested in how Shannon deals with the fact that she's just directly speaking to a all-powerful witch who can make all of her dreams come true, and she's just like, well, I only really needed your magic to like give a little push. I don't actually need the full thing. And she's like a little interested in that. Sees her, or it seemingly sees her as somewhat of like a companion among the people on the island, more directly, that we see at least. It doesn't seem like Beatrice actively interacted with people prior as this like witch ethereal form that she's in right now, because we still have the story that Beatrice was a living person at some point, or like was alive and died, and now she might just be like an ethereal like witch ghost type thing, is what I'm assuming the implication is supposed to be, that Kinzo is trying actively to revive. But now we had those scenes where she would just appear, say some weird cryptic shit, influence somebody to do something one way or another, whether they wanted to or not, with both Shannon and Cannon, and then she would like evaporate, disappear, and then we get her appearing to Rosa and Maria, because we get background info on a lot of other family members, because the one thing that I did notice, a lot less of a focus on Battler in this episode, because it is now Beatrice's turn. Because episode 1 is essentially, in my mind, was Battler's like initial first turn or whatever, or like most of the story is from his perspective for the most part, except for like the few chapters that were like Natsuhi and stuff like that. But most of it was from Battler's perspective before. Now it's more so about the other members of the family, and we don't even really see Battler until like more than halfway through the first episode, or this first set of volumes. Takes him a while to show up. And even when he does show up, most of the story is not about him, it's about his father, who is his business is literally dying, and he's like, we need to get money ASAP from Dad. We have to get money from the annual meeting or whatever.
Which he did not tell his wife.
Fucked. Yeah, did not tell Kyrie.
Just follow me.
Yeah.
And I'll treat you all with champagne parties.
Yeah, don't complain about no money this week, okay? I'll be here next week. Get to work. I'm going to the island. Don't worry about it, guys. Everything will be fine.
We'll be good. We'll get some champagne afterwards. It'll be fine.
Now, the Rosa and... Oh, yeah, go on.
Well, the big problem with that, with Rudolph, is that he didn't tell his wife, which, is bad. You should tell your spouse about, serious things like financial problems and your business going bankrupt. But it's especially bad because he didn't tell his wife. And his wife is his financial advisor.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very important note.
Yeah.
That they literally married because that's his financial advisor.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's how bad with money he is.
Listen, there was a reason last episode Battler was like, listen, Dad, you died.
He's going to
You're
hell.
probably going to hell for some reasons.
Yeah.
Well, now we're starting to know
This is
there's
one of
probably
them.
some shady reasons behind the business dealings
There's a
that
lot of shady reasons.
it's probably not good because he's keeping it away
reasons.
from his wife who's the finance. Yeah, so it's not very good, but we at least get to see more about him this time, because last episode was mostly just him cryptically showing up being like, yeah, so I think I'm gonna die tonight, and then that was pretty much like, because I don't remember him doing anything else. He showed up in the room one time and said, yeah, so guys, I think I'm gonna die tonight, and Dad was like, Battler was like, Dad, what the hell are you talking about? And then he died that night. So,
You shall die for your tax crimes, Rudolph.
So that was like Rudolph's kind of progress with it. He was there with the mission of getting money for his business. He's not the only one too. Ava and I think Kraus? No, maybe not Kraus. I think it was somebody else. Who was the other one? Rosa, yes. Yeah, they were all trying to also actively, because there was a couple scenes where they're like talking together about how they're going to like deal with Kraus. Specifically, they meet when they find out about Beatrice as a guest, and they're like, well, who the fuck is she? She's obviously heard about the inheritance, right? So she's here to like lie that she's like some long lost like child or whatever of Kinzo, and that she's owed a part of the inheritance as well or whatever. Well, they're like, well, we can't verify any of that here because now a storm's coming. So whatever she says, we should probably just ignore whatever she's saying. It can't be real. It can't be true. And we can't verify it even if it's true. There's a whole chapter talking about like the devil's proof or whatever too, but it is like more so about the concept of witches, I think too. But it was like a big thing where it's like, well, you might not be able to verify something is true, but you also, it's hard to verify something isn't true in the same kind of effect with it. It was like another theme with this. And seems to be a recurring thing in regards to witches and magic throughout the series, where it's like, well, it might be hard to prove that it's real, but you can't prove it's not real. And how are you going to prove it's not real? If but regardless, I want to go back to, again, the Rosa Maria stuff, because I kept trying to talk about it, and I kept getting sidetracked with other stuff I was rambling about. The Maria and Rosa stuff was more so showing us a day in the life of them together. It's not very good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Not at all.
Not good. It's like it's around Halloween time, because I think this is towards more before they get on the boat. They're like on the trains to head towards where they have to go to get onto the boat or something to that effect. So it's like close to when the annual meeting's supposed to start. And they are on like a train or whatever, and Maria is in her mind getting obsessed with Halloween because it's October. And so she's like, Halloween, I want to do trick or treat. I want to trick or treat. Ooh, I want to trick or treat. And Rose is like, stop. Can you stop? Can you stop? And then she just gets louder and louder or whatever, and then starts hitting her. It's not good. Because I think like a random lady on the train tried to give her like a candy. And Rosa at first is like, don't accept candy from strangers, Maria. What are you doing? Which is like, okay, that's whatever. But then she's like actively hitting her to get the candy away from her. And like then violently like beating her in front of several people on the train over this shit. And I was like, okay, it's
That's
doing
a little much.
It's doing this thing, okay? It's doing this thing, which I understand how it's doing. It just felt too real about some of this stuff or whatever, where it's like, in my mind at least, obviously not all these cases are the same, but a lot of like child abuse kind of cases like this, where like it's a parent physically abusing their child, like beating them or whatever like that. In some cases it could be like they just want to assert their dominance. In other cases it could be that they just want to have control or whatever, and they can't get their child to shut the fuck up. And there's a whole bunch of things with that. With this case, they tried to play it off like she has a witch take over her for a moment. And they do it because like she'll get like very violent with Maria, start hitting her, and then she'll get all apologetic, and they start like, you know, being like, "Oh, I love you" or whatever, and it makes it look like their connection is like grown as a result of it. That is a literal cycle of abuse. It is not just a quirky, weird like, "Oh, she just got taken over by a little witch for a second." This is literally how the cycle of abuse typically works, and why a lot of people end up not leaving abusive relationships is because of that like cycle of it.
Rosa needs to see a psychiatrist. I'm gonna be
Rosa needs a psychiatrist for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I will say because as you've seen, these episodes are not just mystery. We are actually getting
Right.
a lot of. As the episodes go on, we will get a lot more background on every single character. The one thing I will say though is that how is the story trying to portray Rosa as having a witch, as like a bad witch, or is that Maria?
I was wondering that too, because I was like, man, because that definitely sounds like something Rosa would, or not Rosa, Maria would think about and say, and Rosa would just cling to, as like an excuse for why she lashes out. Where it's like, you know, I was just, you know, taken over, you know, that's all that was. Okay, sweetie. Because she's like saying, Mom,
This
come
witch is
back.
very persistent.
It's literally just, sure, sweetie, whatever you say. Sure, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm not an abusive person. I love you.
Giving my schizophrenic aunt.
Yeah, it like, it's weird because in cases like hers, you know, the stories make you feel a lot like, you know, the parent really does care about them, but they have something else really going wrong with them to where they need to seek counseling or do something, or be, at the very least, being taken away from the child for a very long time, because they very clearly should not be taking care of this child as young as they are at this time, with like how they're like parenting them. It's not good.
You think that now?
It's not good. It's not at all good. But
Oh
again,
my God.
but again, it's one of those things where it's like, it's trying to portray to you that like she does actually care for Maria. She's not just abusing her just to be an asshole and to like assert like dominance or whatever. It's trying to show you that like there are just times where she just loses it on her because she feels like everything about her life was taken away from having this child. Like, as soon as I had you, I probably wasn't able to do a whole bunch of other things I wanted to do in my life. And then, you know, what was it? The father left. Did he leave or die?
Yeah,
or
he left.
yeah, he left. And that whole thing. And it's like, okay, so there are definitely like parents or relationships or whatever who would think that, but obviously the child's not to blame for that. The child didn't do anything about that. But like they'll still have this sort of like regret or like anger towards them or resentment towards them in some place, and I don't know. It's a very deep topic to kind of get into, and the main thing to take away from this is no, a witch is probably not the excuse for the abuse here. Okay, as much as we are debating whether or not a witch exists, okay, Beatrice I don't think is influencing her to
In this
abuse her
case,
child.
Probably not.
I don't think Beatrice would be doing that.
99% sure. But that 1% though is very tempting.
That 1% though, that's what Maria
well,
wants to cling to.
Especially given the fact that Maria is like one of Beatrice's strongest soldiers. Yeah, I don't think she would be influencing someone to beat her. I mean, unless the 4D chess move is to do that so that she'll be Beatrice's
Yeah.
soldier. Because I mean,
4D chess move is to cause the abuse so that
Yeah.
Maria turns to her.
you know, like cause the problem so that you can then be the solution and then mentally like manipulate them and all that kind of thing. I mean, that's
Just
a
like a mobile
possibility.
game.
Is what?
Just like a mobile game.
Yeah, true. Just like the gotchas. Yeah, definitely. I don't have that one thing that's going to be gone in 3 days. Hold on. Let me just put out $60 real quick towards this thing. Yeah, I understand. But with
saying
there was actually a gotcha game for the When They Cry series
Oh my
that
God.
was like it had
bro,
it literally had like special lore for the series. And it was only like in Japan, and I think it's shut down by now, but it existed.
oh, okay. We'll have to look into that. It'd be interesting
It was mainly
to.
for Higurashi, but
Oh, I see. I just find that idea very funny to think of like Beatrice laughing at your gotcha rolls. You're like, take you to the Golden Land if you give me another $60. Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm taking a sip of water. Okay, so
Oh,
yeah,
hold on,
so
before you go on,
what?
I find you saying that Maria is one of Beatrice's strongest soldiers very funny out of context.
Maria.
It's
Yeah.
because I mean she is like a huge stan of Beatrice, because I mean she already had in a session with, well, the question becomes, did she become obsessed with witches before meeting Beatrice, or did she become obsessed with Beatrice after meeting, or witches after meeting Beatrice?
Arguably, Kinzo is one of Beatrice's strongest soldiers.
Well, Maria's the strongest that can actively serve her, I guess. You know, Kinzo is like her strongest simp, but she ignores the simps, okay? The strongest, like, warrior, or, like, you know, servant or whatever, that's a different thing. They directly interact. That's like the mod, okay? Their Discord chat mod, okay? Kinzo is just like one of the people who's like really wants to be a mod, but he's never allowed because they don't, because, you know, they don't trust her with it or whatever. No, yeah. So
he's never online.
Yeah, he's never online. He's always appearing offline. You know, it's just
yeah.
So, okay, so
Beatrice on your recurring child soldiers.
Yeah, because Maria's thing was like a long arc of obsession with the occult. The idea was she's clung to it more so than anybody else probably would at her age because of her abusive mother. So it was like an escape for her, essentially. But now we're finding out not only is it that, but also she actively meets with Beatrice every single year at the family gathering whenever she's on the island or whatever.
I mean,
and has been
something to pass the time.
And she has been for like years and years.
All these adults, their funny words don't make sense to small childs.
Yeah, so she's like actively known Beatrice on the island for like years, and it's hinted that Rosa also does, but has repressed it, is what I thought that those panels were. Like because like she meets Beatrice, and then she asks Maria afterwards, like, have you met her before? And she's like, yeah, for years. And she's like, but I used to live on this island. I don't remember her ever being here. And then like she sort of remembers a figure. So maybe she has met Beatrice before, and she's like either repressed it, or Beatrice has used her magic to make her forget about whatever happened or whatever. Something to that effect. So Rosa was also given a letter this time, though. Well, actually, both of them were. Maria was given something, and Rosa was given a letter. Was Maria also given a letter? Because the one thing I did notice was that we didn't read a letter during the dinner this time. Not that we saw, at least. Maybe that event still happened, but we didn't see it. But Maria was given something, and her envelope eventually turned out to have a key inside of it. Rosa's thing, she was supposed to read it at the dinner, and then she didn't. But that's the one thing where I'm like, I don't know if like Maria ended up reading it, and that's what we saw in the first episode or something like that. But essentially they were given two letters. One was given to Rosa, one to Maria. One had a key in it to open the chapel, because the chapel apparently is one of the only places on the island that does not open from the master key. One of the few places. There's a couple other places, like I think Kinzo's study or whatever. But the chapel only opens with a very special key. And that key happened to be inside of the envelope that Maria, I think, received. Because Maria was given it and told by Beatrice, you'll know when to open it when the time comes. And then Rosa is told about the chapel, how it's locked, remembers about the envelope Maria was given and what Beatrice said, and then goes to open the envelope, finds the key inside of it, goes to open the chapel. And that's where they find several dead bodies yet again. It's 6 again, right? It's still the 6 sacrifices. So it's 6 sacrifices. 6. It looks like they're just all sitting at a table at first. Prior to them finding the dead bodies, we had seen a scene the night before where it was like Rufus. Is it Rufus or Rudolph? Rudolph.
It's Rudolph.
Why did I think
Rudolph
Rufus?
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, so Battler's dad, okay, whatever his name is, all right? Him, Kraus, Natsuhi, I'm trying to see if I get him right. Natsuhi, most of the adults pretty much got destroyed.
It's the 3 adult couples.
Yeah, okay, so Hideyoshi, Eva, yeah, all that. Okay, so they got destroyed. Not just any kind of destroyed. It's not like they were beaten to a pulp like before. Their entrails were like all over the table and floor.
eviscerated.
So they got gutted in the stomach, and their entrails were mixed in with different candies, specifically Halloween candies.
Oh yeah, because the door said "Happy Halloween" to Maria specifically. Oh yeah, I remember now.
Maria.
There's actually a song.
There's a song?
Happy Halloween, Maria.
Bro, how come I didn't get the song on my manga? What the hell?
It's not as gruesome as this.
It's not as gruesome.
Need my manga ASMR. Come on.
They find it.
Yeah, so it is they found another bloody, like, well, I assume it's blood. I don't know, maybe it's just paint or whatever. Symbol drawn on the chapel door, like we saw the last time. I don't remember if it was the same symbol, but there was a symbol drawn on there, on the door, which tells us some fucked up shit's inside, and then they open it up and find out the sacrifices have been made in there, and their entrails are over there, and specifically, the faces are left intact, so they know exactly who they are. So Battler can't say the excuse of, well, we don't know if they actually died. You could have swapped bodies or whatever. And then Beatrice goes a step further to like meta Battler, because her and meta Battler or whatever are still having a conversation during all this as he sees it or whatever. He's just like, or Beatrice is just like, well, so you might think to yourself, oh, I can't have the doctor examine the entrails because he might be in on it too. So perhaps you should check it, and knowing that it's going to be like too disgusting or fucked up for him to want to or whatever. But that's a whole thing too. But because she's just here on the ride to torture Battler now. We're in eternal torture of Battler mode, essentially, because it seems like from the first loop, she could just kill them all. Work it out very easily, but like that's not where the fun. That's not where the fun. She wants the ultimate win for her. She wants complete submission of like all the people who survive at the end as well. So she's gonna keep fucking with the events that happen, making it more and more torturous for Battler until he finally surrenders and admits that Beatrice is real and that magic is real and all of that, and that she's a witch. But he's still trying as hard as he can throughout all of this to say, no matter what you do, I will just deny you. I'll just simply say no. You're just not real. I won't believe anything, and I'll explain some weird reasons for these things to happen. And Beatrice's, I think one line that stuck out to me was like him making an excuse for something that's like very hard to explain and being like, oh, you could explain that in a whole bunch of ways. And she's like, oh, so you just ignore the trivial things and say, yeah, there's got to be an explanation for it, instead of actually explaining it yourself. That's how you're going to play this? You're not going to last very long in this little game we got going on here if you're just going to do that shit, okay? Because, I mean, really, if we're getting to a point where things are supposed to be more and more hard to explain that could be done, you can't just say it must be some kind of illusion. That's too vague of an answer to give. You can't just say it must be some kind of trick. This is just like what me and Shadow were watching Dragon Ball.
So many tricks.
Yeah, me and Shadow were rewatching Dragon Ball, and like they have this one guy in the show who is not a Super Saiyan or like any kind of superpowered person. He's just like the local like pro wrestler dude who's like very famous, and he shows up to the Cell games. Okay, Cell is there ready to fuck shit up, and these people are like fighting each other, destroying like entire landscapes, and the camera guy's going to Mr. Hercule. That's the guy's name. He's like, what, how do you explain what's going on here, Mr. Hercule? And he goes, it must be some kind of trick. And he says that for like literally everything. Literally everything that happens.
My head tied behind my back.
And then when they wait and they turn to him and they're like, oh, are you finally going to enter the ring, Hercule? He's like, yeah, I'm ready. Oh, my stomach. Oh, stomach ache. Oh, you know, I'll let them keep going and maybe I'll jump in later. It's so good. But like, no, yeah, you can't just keep saying it's some kind of trick or some kind of illusion and win in the kind of game that Battler's trying to do. You have to like be able to do more than that. Because like right now for this episode, the turn of the Golden Witch, like it is absolutely Beatrice's turn, and she's not holding any punches with like how she's going against Battler with this. I think the only real case where like she is sort of holding back is that after the murders happened, she's now disappeared from the area, and is not like allowing them to confront her directly, because all of them pretty much are just assuming that mysterious guest Beatrice must have done this. And they even find like a letter from Beatrice when Jessica runs to go to her room, and it's her is basically the letter that was supposed to be read at the dinner, and she reads all of that in there. I think, oh no, maybe it was a different letter. I think the letter was found at the table in the chapel, and they read it there. And then Jessica went into the room and found a letter from Beatrice saying, yeah, did you actually think I'd just stay here? No, I'm not staying there for you to fucking come get me. Fuck that shit. But it's like, well, why would you need to do, why would you be afraid of being there if these are just mere mortals? I don't know.
Because why not trick them and send them that letter and just be like, to make them even more upset.
Joke's on you, it's actually because the lamp that she was going to hit her with was made out of iron, which she's weak to iron,
obviously. Of course. But
established, Jessica could probably murder someone.
You know, we're presented now with a lot of questions. These several family members are dead, and their entrails are like, how did they allow that to happen? Because we saw the scene where they all are just in the chapel basically saying, we recognize you as the witch of the family or whatever. And then we just cut to them all being dead and found the next day. How did she convince them all to die or like do something to like kill them all? Like, what happened with that? You know, was it magic, or was it like they got drugged and then murdered in some kind of way, or what happened with that? There's a lot of questions involved with how that was set up, and Battler seems to have to answer all those if he wants to continue on this little like game that he's got going on with Beatrice.
Okay, well, first of all, Beatrice turns to end, which lasts a good couple of days now. I think like a day or two. It's been a turn for a while now, you know?
What was that? Say that again? Turn into what?
All right. So first of all, Beatrice turns to end, first of all. We all know. You can't answer questions during their turn. Come on.
What do you mean you can't answer questions during your first turn?
No, during their turn. It has to become your turn first to answer questions.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what this is a reference to. Is this a reference I'm not getting?
I'm not referencing. I'm just memeing.
What? Oh.
It's like 20 questions.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't know if this was a reference to like fucking a series we read or whatever that I'm not remembering. No. Okay. All right. You know, so where do we go from here? What do we discuss from here? What is there? Did we cover most of the core events that happened? Because I mean, there's some like little scenes like George helping out Shannon by basically changing the subject because the family starts like saying shit to her. We had like Ava basically saying, stay the fuck away from my son, you harlot, to her or whatever. You're just furniture. You're nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. Like, it was like, okay, Ava, let's calm down. Let's calm down now.
If there are two characters that I hope die every single time, it's Ava and Rosa.
I mean, okay. I agree when it comes with Rosa. I don't know. Ava, I kind of like how schemy she kind of is.
She's irritating to me. It's like she's trying so hard to be Beatrice, but like can't get there, you know?
Well, that's because she doesn't got the magic, you know, but
you just like Beto too much. I understand.
True. Especially in the new drip, you know?
The scene, I was like sending screenshots and stuff being like, oh my gosh, like Beatrice is so hot. And then I got to the scene where she made Cannon kneel down before her and kiss her boots. And I was like, fuck, they called me out.
Yeah.
Or like in that first author's note where it was like 99.9% of you are obviously.
I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this author's note. Hold on, I'm trying to physically find it in the manga. I know I took a screen cap of it and put it in one of the chats, but I'm trying to see if I can physically find it here in the manga, but I don't remember what page. I'm just gonna read it from the screen cap I took. I'm gonna read the afterword. I think there was only one afterword. I don't remember if there was a second, because I remember there was an afterword. One. And I think that has to do with the split between the volumes, because this is supposed to be like technically 3.5, like technically 2.5 volumes or something like that.
Jesus, we're speedrunning this, huh?
Well, yeah. So let me read the thing. Okay, this is from Ryukishi. Ryukishi is just a fucking troll in these things now. Okay, by the way. So
he always was.
He always has been.
About Umineko when they cry. Episode 2, Turn of the Golden Witch. in all caps, very bold letters, "You will surrender." Ryukishi07, creator and supervisor. Hello, I'm Ryukishi07. Welcome to episode 2, Turn of the Golden Witch. As the subtitle suggests, this episode of Umineko portrays Beatrice's turn in the game of chess between the human battler and the Golden Witch. I'm guessing that of the readers who swore to solve the serial murders in episode 1, 99.9% of them will bend over and kiss the witch's shoe here. Haha, yes, I do believe so. In fact, I'm sure of it. You? There's no doubt in my mind. There's no such thing as witches? It must be the work of a human pretending to be a witch? How very courageous and plucky of you. None of you will remain. You will surrender. Are you angry to be insulted so? Here, in this afterword? Then join Battler and challenge the new series of murders that will occur. I'm not expecting you to tell me who is responsible. There is no way you'll be able to figure that out. I'm just eager to see if you can at least figure out how a human could carry them out in the first place. But I know the result already, and you can't even solve that. Yeah. There's like a lot of laughing going on, okay? Taunts Beatrice with a cruel glint in her eye. Please, dear readers, do your best to tackle the serial murders of episode 2. No, I cannot demand that you tackle them. Please, just reach the end without giving in to the witch. It will be a difficult enough episode simply to accomplish that. And that was Ryukishi. Ryukishi the troll, okay. I'm like, I expected nothing less from him at this point, just laughing at us and all that, and just saying, you're a fucking loser, you'll never solve the mystery. But then the next page is the afterword from the artist, being like, hey, guys, so you want to check out my turtle pictures on the blog? They're really cute. Also, I like sharks. Ryukishi let me draw a shark.
Yeah, I like the part where it was like, I'll let you guys add anything. And he was like, sharks!
And they like included it in like the aquarium so it like fit nicely or whatever. So the like little comic afterward from the artist was really nice. I like how we did not just have a collection of like meme like fan translation-esque type memes or whatever, where we just took existing panels and changed them. We had a couple actual 4-comma panels show up here. I don't know if it came out in whatever version you guys were, but there was a couple 4-comma panels where they wanted to draw, because they like turtles and they were talking about turtles, so they did a whole bunch of joke panels where Kanon was now Kamenon, I guess is like a pun for turtle or whatever the word for turtle. So now it's just these scenes where Kanon is a turtle. And I don't even remember fully. One of them was like Genji finds a plant chewed on or whatever, and Kanon's there with like leaves on the side of his mouth, like, huh, must have been birds or some shit. I don't know.
They should turn him into a duck, honestly.
So there's a couple little meme like canon turtle pages, which I thought was like funny. It was a nice little bit. There was a few like comedic panels that I really enjoyed about this episode. Like I think the one that a couple of us screen capped was Shannon and Beatrice enjoying like a tea party together, and it's just a panel of just Beatrice having like a little snack that Shannon specifically bought for her as like a thanks, and she's just like eating like a little chocolate thing or whatever. I'm trying to see if I can find it.
There's a snack with the paisanos.
Yeah, it's just like a little treat. It's a little treat. Oh, here it is. Oh my god, the image is huge because I took it from my phone. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. OBS, I hate you. OBS, I hate you.
OBS being funny yet again?
I don't even know if it looks right because of the fucking scans or whatever on it. But she's just eating a little cookie. A little cookie. It's nice. It's a little thing. And then there was the other panels like Shannon being like, "Oh, I worked in that one visual novel I played," and things like that. Oh yeah, wait, did I show this one? The panel that shows the updated poster behind her. I mean, it's hard to see in the screen cap, probably because the translated version you guys were looking at makes it harder to read for adjusting it to get it to work on the platform, but. Yeah, like she's wearing like the new outfit in the portrait too and everything. So it's like it's pretty sick.
Explain that, Battler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd they do? Hire the artist again to do it all over again?
Oh,
a likely story.
That portrait too.
Find it. Find them.
Shut.
I believe in you.
In the middle of the night, it's just Beatrice like switching the frame. There's no magic in this time, okay? Just etch.
Okay, here we go. So this is like how it appears in the VN?
That's the visual novel one. The one for the first game, first episode, is this one.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The evolution of Beatrice, okay? Now it's her turn.
It still is.
Oh
It's
my
been like a
god.
day or two. Honestly, this is one long ass turn here.
Listen. She gets her turn in the entire loop. Gets to kill everybody, pretty much. This is what it sounds like.
That was like, it's my turn on the Xbox.
It's my turn on the Xbox. Okay. What other memes or dreams do we still have to cover here? Oh, the butterfly brooch thing that Shannon gives to Cannon, he later on just smashes as a fuck you to Beatrice.
What a bitch.
Right in front of Beatrice, too.
Jeez.
Fuck you, bitch, is what he basically said. Get out of here.
Literally.
Evil, evil woman. You are evil. Evil is basically, yeah. And then we get several panels of Beatrice going sicko mode, which looks nice. I think it looks nice with this artist. Okay, fuck you, Ari. I think it looks nice, but
You're wrong.
listen, I'm never wrong. Name one time I've been wrong. One.
I feel like the problem
Can't be
is
done.
whether or not it looks good. It's just like if you put all of the artists on a ranking list, Ari would put it at the bottom.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fine.
Because it's not a bad
It's not that
style.
bad.
Like obviously they know how to how to do like what they're doing.
yeah, like what do you call these expressions? Is it like I don't want to say the term in case I
It's,
can.
It's gonna be wrong. It's gonna be wrong. You're gonna say it's gonna be wrong, and we're gonna get
it's right.
comments saying it's wrong.
Gesugal.
Was it?
Like the Gesugal faces that they draw are they're very good.
Yeah.
I just don't like how they draw Beto.
That's fair. And honestly, I thoroughly enjoy how they drew Shannon during like the romance stuff. That was honestly what I really enjoyed.
And that's what surprised me. How different they draw Shannon versus Beto.
I thought I was reading a shoujo manga at first. I was like, what's happening?
I tricked you all.
God damn it.
I fooled everyone in the shoujo mangas in disguise.
For those of you listening, I'll read the Gesugao is a Japanese term describing a type of facial expression in anime or manga which depicts evilness, malice, sadism. So that's what Ari meant by Gesugao. And it is pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. That's what I like. Those are the faces I like.
Now, I'm also reminded of the old lady on the island too, and her feeling sus too, with like the weird fucking creepy face that she had for a bit, because she was talking about like the history of the island, how it used to be called like Akujikijima or whatever. Like it essentially used to be like a demon island thing. And the legend was supposedly that demons used to live on the island and would devour the souls of humans. And something like it was like a legend from like ships that would crash on the island or something like that. And eventually, to prevent that, that's when the like wandering sage built the shrine with the mirror that like stopped or contained a whole bunch of the evil spirits on there. And Beatrice just happened to also be caught up in it. We don't know specifically if that was targeted towards Beatrice or if it was just dealing with all the other evil energy on the island, and Beatrice happened to get nerfed along with it, or something to that effect. And so that's why Shannon had to break the mirror. It was essentially because of that legend. So we got a little bit of backstory on the island itself. That's interesting to know. And then what else did we have happen? Kinzo still losing his mind, begging for Beatrice to come
She's
back.
Right there.
You know, Battler and Beatrice are talking in their chest room about the events happening. Battler's being like, there's no way. But now I'm just like, is he just like rooting for like a simulation version of himself being like, come on, Battler, you can do it. Don't believe in her. Or like, Or like, is the events that happen in the story supposed to directly influence him in this meta world or whatever? Or, you know, is all of that just supposed to be more metaphorical for the reader's perspective thing or some shit like that? I don't know. But they do have a whole segment where they talk with Maria about what she knows about the legend of the witch in Halloween. Because she mentions Halloween, which is not a thing I think we mentioned at all in the first episode. But she mentions Halloween. And they get to talking about, you know, how it's rare for her to even know what Halloween is, because it's typically like a Western kind of holiday thing, so it's not really talked about too much in Japan.
And keep in mind, this is in the 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s, yeah. And so they talk about the history of it, and it was something to the effect of, like, ancient Celts believed in, like, the annual changing of the season, where being more symbolic of, like, the sun's strength, being born, growing fierce, dying over like the course of a year. So essentially like the sun's like going through like its own life and death over and over again or something. And so they also believed that through certain months like October is when it's closest to the land of the dead. They're like closest to the land of the dead at this time. And so they celebrated this period by I'm trying to remember how I was explaining. Something like the reason why people wear costumes is so that they could pretend to be some of these monsters, and then they give them treats as like gifts or whatever. I don't know if that means they're just trying to not get killed or something like that. I don't remember, but it seemed like it might have been like more of like the basis for the Halloween we know today is like a legend in the past, ancient legend about how spirits would be coming, and so you would want to disguise yourself as a spirit or ghost or demon as well, so that they either don't kill you or like in celebration of them you'll pretend to be one of them during this period that they're there, and then candy or whatever is given as a treat or whatever. Some kind of gift is given, and that eventually evolved to the Halloween we know today, where people are wearing costumes and going trick-or-treating for like candies and stuff like that. And so Maria is rambling about all that, and then also gets to talking about witches or whatever, and specifically talking about Beatrice, I think, too. And Rosa then gets violent with her again immediately, and it's like she's like, I told you not to talk about fucking witches. But it's like literally they were asking her. They asked her what they everybody else there was talking to her.
Nobody stepped in.
Well, I think she like took her away for a bit and then did that. I think that was the thing with that. I mean, I don't remember fully, but I think it was that definitely. Rosa definitely. I mean, aside from that scene that we saw in the first episode where she just blatantly slapped her in front of them, and also the train scene before, I think in some scenes she'll just like drag her away for a bit and just beat the fuck out of her, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it's also just I get like. Is she just hitting her in places that people won't notice or whatever? But no, she's like blatantly slapping her hard across the face and shit. Like people are gonna see that shit if there's marks or whatever. But I don't know. Most important thing too, she took her fucking candy and smashed it on the ground. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But Maria, unfortunately, being stuck in the abusive cycle that she is, still was obsessed with the candy, even though it was broken. Because she still cares about her mom. She's like, it doesn't matter. That's the candy I bought with my mom. That's the one that she bought me, so I care about her. Like, she didn't say these things, but that's what Canon picked up on when he's like, I can just give you one that's not broken. And she's like, no, I want to keep this one. But then she's also like, a witch could easily fix this. And then Beatrice shows up later and does fix it in front of Rosa as well to like show that she has the magic and has fixed it or whatever. And that's when Rosa then reports to the other people there that, hey, there's a person here. I saw another person here, and then they also find out about her being a guest in the house, and yeah, so it's a whole thing with Beatrice where she's just
and
taking advantage of that.
Not magic. You just replaced another one while they weren't looking.
Exactly. That's where he's like, it must have been some kind of illusion or sleight of hand, and Beatrice is like, well, if you're just gonna ignore everything and claim it's all trivial, then you're not gonna make it very long here if that's gonna play, you know. But so I think that's pretty much the one other thing of note is that it very much seemed like many of the adults thought that Beatrice, the guest for the annual thing, was just like something planned by Krause to like do some weird mind games to them during the discussions about the inheritance, but when they found out during the dinner about Beatrice or whatever, they like brought her up, Krause seemed like he had no fucking idea at all, and is like, what the fuck is this shit? But then it's like a question of like, did he actually not know or whatever, what's going on with this? But eventually he dies, so I mean, who fucking knows? So. Who fucking knows? We don't know anything. We don't know anything. It's all magic, don't worry. No, it's not magic. I'm Battler, okay? I'm Battler. It's not magic.
Oh,
we
you
can
already want
explain
to
it.
concede, huh? You
No,
wanna do that,
no,
huh?
no, Ryukishi, I do not. No, I do not. It's not magic. It's not
Just
magic.
no other silly tricks.
It's not magic. Wait, where's that one video that I posted? Okay, I should play that one. Wait, where did I post it? I posted in the book club one. Oh wait, but it's gonna be a pain for me to show it. Just hey, if you're listening and you want to see that meme, you can go to discord.wolfwork.com and you can check out that and all the other memes that we've been posting in there. Okay, you should do that. It's based. Okay, you can see memes like the one in the bottom right corner where it's that that GIF. You know that GIF. You're seeing it right now.
GIF.
It's there. It's probably all you've been staring at because it's the like one of the only moving things on the screen. You know, it's just how that works. So, all in all, how are we feeling about this new direction with episode 2? How are we feeling about it? I'll start off, I guess. Personally, I was like a little mixed with the initial chapters with how I'm fine with the romance drama stuff, but I also felt like at times it went on a little longer for me, where it's like, okay, we get it, Canon. You really think you're furniture. Okay, Shannon, you really think you're I was just like, listen, I understand. You've been indoctrinated into thinking you're furniture. I don't need you to restate it in like 1,000,001 ways to call yourself a flightless duck to call yourself furniture. I don't need all that. I got that already. And I don't know, maybe it's just because they wanted to, you know, separate it from how it was presented in the first episode too, because we basically already got that kind of stuff in the first episode, maybe not as hard or directly, but okay, I get it. We can calm down. I don't need the word furniture 70 times.
We're literally one chapter away
Like,
from getting more information about it.
no, yeah, that's fine. I'm just like, okay, we gotta calm down with that. These are just my thoughts based on the chapters that we read, where I'm just like, let's calm down on the furniture thing. And then once we get, because I was very much interested in this background info about these different family members right before the event started happening. I liked that. I liked that as a spin. I did also like, in my mind, the question of, were these events that happened before, but we just didn't see them, or are they entirely new events that didn't happen now? And like some of those later on we know did not happen in the first episode, and some of them it's like it could have happened, because like I said before, when the adults all meet up and talk about how there's a guest there and they say to themselves, we'll just simply not acknowledge that they're real, and I'm just like, oh,
Taking the Battler approach here.
is that why they just acted like they did at the dinner? Maybe they actually knew Beatrice was a guest there, or knew something about Beatrice in the first episode. But then the second episode is just like, no, they actually just, this is just a completely different thing that happened, and a whole bunch of different events and all that. So, but
I just keep getting confused.
about what specifically?
I think now that,
What's real, what's
that
not?
I understand, yeah, like
That's the point.
whether
I
or not
think, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
adding to the previous version or Beatrice is like adapting it. I get, now that we've talked about it, I get it a little bit now, but I literally think I said in like the spoiler area, I was like, damn, now I'm confused because I got really lost.
Just take it as the events of Rokkenjima could happen in multiple different ways. And we're seeing a different way it could have played out.
Okay.
That we will go more in depth into that too.
So then, you know what this means? None of these are real. Okay, none of this is real. All right, this is all bullshit fan
Except the
fiction.
Beatrice
Sorry,
is toy
Jeff.
tricks.
Beatrice is especially not real. Okay, Beatrice is a figment of Maria's imagination
Do you not
and
hear her?
Kinzo's imagination.
She's
I
with
don't
us
hear
right
anything.
now.
I don't hear anything. Do you guys hear something? I don't hear.
Sorry.
I don't hear
Doing this.
anything. It's not real. It's a made up fiction. It never happened. Where's that soundboard? Okay,
It's a made-up tale.
I'm trying to load the
Total
soundboard this
fabrication.
entire time, but I
Never
can't.
happened.
it never happened. It never happened. Okay, listen. All I know is that I enjoyed a lot when we picked back up fully with like the events on the island, because that kind of stuff is like, again, I'm fine with all the background stuff with the people. That stuff is all cool. Again, I just felt like we spent a little too much time on some of that stuff, and I would rather go around more so to a lot of the other people. But I also assume some of the other people will probably get more background info about in future episodes too. You know, it's one of those kind of things. Perhaps is just a theory, a game theory. You know, so those are my thoughts about episode 2. Who else wants to give us their general impressions of episode 2 overall? Okay, if nobody volunteers, I will demand answers of certain people. Okay, Ari, how about you, Miss Soundboard over here? Okay, what are your general opinions on episode 2 so far?
Pretty good. It was again very consistent with the visual novel. It was just a more brief version of that, but it still kept in a lot of the key parts. It didn't skip over like vital things, and it kept in a lot of the smaller details that you know, are some that aren't as important, and some that are more of like nice haves, but they still like included them in. So it's still a very good adaptation so far. The art style, like I said, not my personal taste. It's a still good art style. I just don't like how they draw Bito.
Hater.
Bito is top tier. She should get every single ounce of effort put into her.
Damn, hater. Oh my god.
But yeah, I think it's pretty good so far.
All right, and Nyan, how about you?
I said mine. I got really confused, but I think Beatrice is hot, and I like the art style.
Okay, fair enough. And you, Shadow?
I think the episode was fine. I'm enjoying it so far.
All right. Well, is there anything other details that we want to bring up and discuss before we wrap up? Because I think, what are our everybody except Ari, because I already knows. What are our theories here? Okay, about what happens next with this route, at least, or this
Bro, I don't
playthrough.
fucking know.
Who do we think this entire route is just going to be everybody essentially submitting and kissing Battler's shoe, except, well, did I say everyone except Battler? I probably did. I mean everybody except Battler, because I'm assuming if Battler ever does, the story ends. So I don't know. We have there's 8 episodos total of Umineko, right? So yeah.
There's only one person I can outmatch him. It's himself.
Yeah. So I don't know, because we seem to be doing it's either they will submit to me or die. But even when they do submit, they will also die. So you can't really win, because those six had said, we recognize you as a member of the family. I think one of them was calling them a certain thing, and she was like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was essentially they were really kissing up to Beatrice or whatever in that scene, and then she still killed them all anyways as sacrifices. Don't know what happened with that. We cut out a lot of scenes to get there on purpose to maintain the mystery of what's going on. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I did also want to mention, okay, we had another classic Kairi flip over the chessboard explanation of events, because they were talking about why would Beatrice be a thing that, because they were just this guest just showed up claiming to be Beatrice and claiming to be probably here to talk about the inheritance or whatever, and they're just why would we not be told about this guest coming ahead of time? Why would they just suddenly show up now as everybody's showing up here and the storm's coming or whatever? And Kairi says well, look at it in another way. If you flip over the chessboard, the way that you would do that, because what was the theory? It was if you do that, people can't verify certain things that you say because you're trapped on the island. So if somebody says, yeah, I am actually the secret love child of Kinzo and a mistress or whatever, and I have a birth certificate to prove it, they can't verify it with the hospital right now because they're trapped on the island and supposedly a storm's coming or whatever. So, or she might mess with the phones or something like that. So right now they don't know if they could verify whatever is being said or something to that effect. So that's why they start with the whole idea of we'll just deny, and then we just immediately cut to them being yes, we acknowledge you. You are definitely a witch, and you are definitely the alchemist of the family. We believe in you, Beatrice Saba. like things like that. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here.
I will say,
yeah,
I'm enjoying it as a story because of how
Because of Bito, we know. Yeah.
I might as well just like not be here anymore. What the fuck? Why do I put up with this?
Go on.
And obviously we're only like what 3 volumes in, something like that.
two and a half, but basically
2.5.
Out of about like 40, yeah.
I so far comparatively preferred the mystery solving patterns of Summertime Rendering because it was a lot clearer what was going on.
Okay. Well, I mean that this is supposed to be as confusing as it is on purpose, because it is literally trying to break our perceptions of how you would even approach fiction from the mindset of like it being a mystery story. So it's kind of like trying to do a little fucked up meta thing to you as the reader too, whereas Summertime Rendering is trying to be, in my mind, more of like a traditional kind of straightforward mystery kind of thing, which is incorporated time travel as its thing.
The reason that I thought of it was because this time around, as they're like quote unquote doing it again, they mentioned the epitaph and actually solving the mystery a lot sooner than they did last time. So like that makes me think that there is going to be like some attempt at trying to not just disprove that Beatrice like is ruling, but actually like go through with the solving of the mystery of the epitaph. But that would have been like that is going to be hard to keep track of if they do end up also doing that. I don't know.
Just find the gold.
There are 2 main mysteries.
Yep.
The mystery of the witch and the mystery of the epitaph. So they will be
trying
to figure out that
gold. We actually found some of them this time, finally.
What about the mystery of my sanity? You know, I don't know if I have
so
it anymore.
True.
It's just
that's not a mystery at all.
It made me think. It made me think of Summertime Rendering because it was like trying to solve the mystery of the epitaph, getting a little further with every like reattempt, but then adding on the meta of like watching it from afar, not the fucking bird's eye view again. God damn it!
Bird's eye view. Okay.
Making it so much more complicated.
God, I still think about woke to this day. All right, just
I can tell.
sometimes instead of saying okay, I almost accidentally say woke because I think about it. You know,
it's a form of habit, huh?
It's okay. Battler's gonna have a bird's eye view. All right, he's gonna start saying woke. He's gonna say woke to the witch.
No. He's going to have a bird's eye view and then flip the chessboard to the ground eye view.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Like the whole thing is him having a bird's eye view of things in this manga.
And then Battler's gonna hack the one gun they have on the island, and then it'll be the bullet to stop the witch.
Did this one?
Because that was how they defeated the last one.
They haven't even like gotten yet in this time.
Yeah. We haven't pulled it out yet. Nazi knew about it, so Nazi's dead. So I don't even know if they're gonna find it this time.
Nate, I think there's a deeper enemy hidden beneath the sinkhole under the raceway. That's a security brief reference. You wouldn't believe me, but that was basically the plot of Summertime Rendering.
I mean, yeah. And listen, you can hear about that journey on youtube.wolfborg.com if you look at the past VODs of the Wolfborg streams, okay, of our book club stuff, okay? I think that was the first one that you joined us with, right, Anne? Or was there one prior to that? Yeah, that was the first one you joined us with.
No, because the one prior to that was Fire Punch.
Yes, right, yep. So, okay. Here's the important thing. Will George and Shannon survive together?
No, of course not.
Will we fuck up George even more somehow? How badly will he be fucked?
Listen, I want George to get his happy ending, but he has to suffer a little bit.
A little bit?
Speaking of George, I do have one question for the Americans here.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What?
Okay, so George mentions that when going to the aquarium, Americans also think of eating the fish. Is this true?
Sometimes.
No.
Yeah?
Sometimes. So like
I
that.
don't go to aquariums a whole lot, but the last time that I went to an aquarium, there were sharks, and I was thinking about my dad. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we got sometimes definitely a no.
Sometimes, I mean,
Depends on how hungry you are.
Well, and the other
and if you're
thing
somebody who
is-
likes to eat fish or whatever, I don't really
and
like
if
to
you're,
eat
I
fish.
see. That's the thing is, I don't like fish. But the other thing is that a lot of times those aquariums are designed to be rehabilitation centers. So you probably wouldn't want to be eating most of those fish anyway, either because they're protected or they're like dangerous and not good to eat.
That's not
I
gonna
say
stop
something
me.
and I go, yummy.
Well, that was actually solved in whatsoever. I just got a 50-50 on that essentially.
I knew you would bring up that line because he mentioned Italians. I was like, Shadow's gonna mention this. Either screen cap it or bring it up in the club or something. Shadow's just like, Italians mentioned? This is basically what I was like. I mean, you're here talking about it now. I was like, so.
As I tell you, I can't confirm no.
Okay, all right. Well, you speak for all Italians here? Is that what you're saying? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I believe you.
I've made pizza before, okay? I'm certified Italian.
Wow, and that makes you qualify.
sorry.
To
Yeah.
all Italian.
I forgot. That's the that's what you do for your credentials as an Italian. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, so if you can't make pizza, then I'm really Italian.
Wow. I think this is a question for Beatrice next week. Okay. I think we should ask her about
You don't
that.
know what Italy is.
We already have the question of whether or not witches are real. Now we got to know if Italians are real. I don't know. So, thank you so much, everybody, for coming to stop by and hang out and listen to us on these memes. You can listen to us again next week as we read the rest of episode 2. We're going to be completing episode 2 for next week. So, I will specify the chapter should be like chapters 17 to whatever the last chapter is for episode 2. So, whatever way that you're reading it, just read the rest of episode 2. You don't have to worry about the overlapping volumes anymore. Just read until you're done with
28.
episode 2. 28, whatever. We're done with episode 2 next week. So just read until you're done with that, and then we'll be preparing. We still have this kind of overlapping thing in episode 3, but then again, it only really affects the first streams that we do for these episodes. For episodes 2 and 3 specifically. Episode 4 doesn't have this issue because episode 4 is like 6 volumes, so I think it's like 2 each volume or something like that. So anyways.
Yep.
So next week we'll be discussing those volumes, essentially volumes 3 to 5 of episode 2 of Umineko. Again, just read until you're done with episode 2, and we're all set with that. And we will see what else happens in Turn of the Golden Witch. What is Beatrice going to be up to? Will George and Shannon have a happily ever after? Will Cannon learn to not be furniture? Will Battler be kissing Beatrice's shoe in the end? Can Beatrice get any hotter? Those questions and more will be answered next time.
Is Beatrice actually battling the whole time? Who knows?
It could be. Anything could be possible at this point. I don't know. I don't think that that's probably going to be the answer, but I don't know. That'd be a wild theory.
Possibility now.
That'd be like the mer people theory. We gotta have a mer people theory at some point in this kind of mystery thing.
Oh, God
It's
damn
gotta
it.
happen. It's gotta happen. Could
Whatever
mer
it is
people
that
be
episode
involved? They're
theory
on
at
an
some
island.
point.
It could just be sea people or whatever. Mer people getting involved. Beatrice could just be a mermaid or some shit.
Actually,
You never know.
Rogunjima is the Japanese Atlantis.
I believe it. I mean, they go to a whole aquarium and everything. I think that's a little sus. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming to hang out. Make sure to like and or subscribe and or follow, depending on which platform you're on. We stream these every week on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us at youtube.wolfborg.com, twitch.wolfborg.com, and kick.wolfborg.com. The VODs for all streams will live on YouTube, so if you ever want to go and revisit one of our past streams, if you missed it live, you can always watch all of those episodes on there. And they should all be there. And then, if you are interested in either getting involved with the book club directly, or you just want to hang out and see us talk about theories, or if you just want to talk about like your theories or funny things that you notice or thoughts that you have as you read the chapters as well, you can join discord.wolfborg.com and talk with us in the anime book club channels that we got going on over there. You are all more than welcome to get involved with that, and if you feel comfortable joining on the streams, people are welcome to join so if they would like to. So thank you so much, everybody, as usual, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, gamers. Stay safe.
Team.
Stay safe. Oh, by the way, I have not decided fully yet if I want to do it. I may or may not take a break and then turn back on my stream later tonight and do some more Jak and Daxter. I don't know for sure if I'll do that, but if you see me go live again, I'll be doing Jak and Daxter. So, good night, gamers. Stay safe. talk to you all later.